All right, as we get back into the school routine with your kids, because my kids are too old to go back to school, it's always a good thing, a good reminder to take it slow around school buses and school zones. It's amazing how people just speed up around buses. What is that all about?
I don't know. AAA spokesperson Doug Shupe is here to talk all about the do's and don'ts. Hi, Doug.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Sure. All right, so there's one thing that happens with school buses that people sometimes don't realize, and that is when the stop sign comes out, what are you supposed to do?
You are absolutely required to stop, and you cannot go again until that sign is withdrawn back into the school bus. So it's really important to remember.
On both sides of the road, by the way.
On both sides, yes. And what you need to look out for is when the lights start flashing the yellow, that means that bus is preparing to stop. When the lights are red and the stop sign is extended, that means that students are actively getting on and off the bus. And so you really need to be very watchful. Of course, you want to stop, but then you also want to watch for children. Now, parents, teach your kids about the school bus danger zones. As you can see in this picture, you want to encourage them to always stay at least 10 feet away from the school bus. So when exiting, they want to walk out away from the bus at least 10 feet before they turn to go on their direction. And you remember that the most dangerous areas are really close to the bus, that back quadrant, and then also right in front of the bus.
There's no mirror there.
No mirrors, and that's where the blind spots are for the bus drivers.
Here's the thing, a lot of, and I have seen this time and time again. People see the bus and they speed up to avoid having to stop behind the bus. And you don't, how can you calculate when this is all going to happen in real time when you're in such a hurry to get around that bus? Really, is a life worth doing that?
Absolutely not. And we know that the buses are going to be out there during the preschool hours and the afternoon hours. There is no excuse to pass a stopped school bus with the arm extended. Just think about the young children that are just trying to get to and from school. Right. And it's really important that parents and guardians, we teach our kids about safety, getting on and off the school bus. Make sure that they don't just exit without looking both directions, right and left first.
Right. Obviously you have to teach your kids and the kids have to be aware of it, but they're children.
They are.
In the end, they're kids, and we're the adults, and it is up to us.
Not one of those kids getting off that bus looked both ways.
Right, and that's what you want to teach your kids to do.
None of them.
Right, they just think that, it's safe. The bus is stopped. We want to talk to our kids about make sure you pause before you take that last step onto the ground and look both ways to make sure that there's no traffic coming.
I'm sure AAA has done lots of research on all of this.
We have, and what we found is over the last decade, the afternoon hours between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. are particularly dangerous for pedestrians, children walking to and from school, walking home from school. Those afternoon hours, you've got kids that are coming home from school, mixing with the afternoon
traffic.
Commuters coming home from work, and 1/3 of pedestrian fatalities actually happen between those hours of 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Those are really the critical hours you need to be watchful, but also, of course, in the morning hours as well.
Well, the problem with those times of days is that you have particularly situations with the sun. In the afternoon, the sun could be setting by the time they're getting home, some of them, and in the morning, it's dark. So the kids don't always have bright clothes. You can't always see them, but you can see that big yellow bus and the lights. There's no excuse for that.
And that's a great point to make also when the time changes and we have to adjust our clocks and it gets darker earlier. We want to make sure that our kids are wearing bright clothing, when they're heading home from school, both pedestrians as well as bicyclists. And, just teach your kids, for younger kids, it's a good idea to actually walk with them. The first week or couple of weeks, let them get used to what it's like to find the proper places to cross the street at the intersections, looking for the crossing guards and obeying their instructions. And also, for the older children, your older students, teach them not to be distracted while walking. Take out the earbuds. Don't be looking at the phone because you want to teach your kids to make eye contact with the drivers. That's a thing that you want to develop early on before crossing a street. Make sure you make eye contact with the driver so you know that they see you.
All right, Doug, all good information. Thank you so much for coming in.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.